Hello, everyone.
Welcome to the Queers of Time podcast.
I'm Matt.
I'm James.
I'm Kenny.
And I'm Kat.
And this is a podcast to talk about all the gay stuff in the Wheel of Time.
Because we're gay and we like the Wheel of Time.
I don't know how to start this.
I know. Hi, hello, welcome to Queers of Power, I guess is what we're calling this.
Yeah. So this is a after season 2 of the Wheel of Time, we wanted to do something a little bit different. So we figured, why not watch Amazon's other big fantasy series?
Why not?
And Matt does not enjoy watching TV. And Camille likes this show, so we couldn't have that in
We
here.
could not have that.
No, Kat and I are big Lord of the Rings nerds.
Yep.
I would say that's like Wheel of Time is pretty much my main, but like I know a lot about Lord of the Rings and Middle Earth too.
Yeah.
Like a lot.
Yeah.
Like too much.
Too much. I've been reading Tolkien stuff since I was in grade 5. So what is that? I was how old?
I don't know I don't speak Canadian.
11?
Okay.
5th grade.
5th grade.
Oh my, are you kidding me?
No.
The words
I am. Yes,
are
I am. I'm
reversed.
I don't speak Canadian. I'm sorry.
It's not like I said, what is it over in the UK? It's like 11th form or something.
Year 7.
Year 7? Okay. It's not like that. It's just, we just do a swapperoonie of the words.
A swapperoonie, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, so I thought it, yeah, it's just, we did this. I don't know if people will remember when when Rings of Power came out. We, did a live stream. We have not watched that.
We haven't.
So I do not know how our, thoughts compare.
Mm-hmm. In hindsight, we probably should have given it a quick skim, but you know what? I like this better for us. It feels much more on brand. It's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I guess, by the way, welcome to this yes. Lurks, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
You are still sponsoring this. Thank you to our feral venerator of Soirein / I don't know. Yeah, we aren't going to rename it just for Rings of Power.
No, it's still Soirein.
But yes. In this episode of Queers of Time Power, we are going to be talking about Season 1, Episode 1 of Rings of Power. And it's just Kat and James.
Mm-hmm.
And there are spoilers for the Lord of the Rings in the show.
There are, this is very spoilerful. So if you've never read Lord of the Rings or the Silmarillion or watched Rings of Power, don't listen. Maybe.
Or if you just don't care about spoilers, that's fine too, I guess. But
yes,
like, we're gonna go nerd.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and Camille gave us a warning before we recorded this.
Yes, they did.
Saying, don't be negative.
Mm-hmm.
Don't just be negative.
Mm-hmm. So Camille, listen, I need you to know we are going to do our best. We are going to make an effort here.
And this is not to say that anybody that enjoys Rings of Power has bad taste, because it is objectively a good show.
It is.
It is objectively very pretty. Mm-hmm. It is objectively, like, overall, like, really great.
Yeah.
It just doesn't necessarily hit.
Mm-hmm. I wish I could take away the part of my brain that's like a big Tolkien fan. I could turn off that part of my brain, because I am positive that I would enjoy the show a lot more than I did.
Yeah, and it's not to say I didn't like it.
No.
It's to say that I didn't love it, and I think my expectations were a little too high.
Mm-hmm.
But that's on Amazon's marketing team.
Yes.
So, is what it is.
It is.
But yeah, I mean, let's talk a little bit about what we liked here.
Yeah, let's do that.
I do like Galadriel as a character. Mm-hmm. So for anyone that knows me, Galadriel is my favorite character in Tolkien's Legendarium. Like, I have given PowerPoint presentations on the history of the Elven Princess Galadriel. I love her. She's my favorite. I don't feel like she's being treated with the most respect here. And I see maybe some traces of the Galadriel that she's going to become, because this is, thousands of years before what we see in Lord of the Rings. She is not wise. Well, she's very wise still.
Yes.
She is still at this time known for being like super wise and knowing everything, and people should heed her. And yet they don't.
And yet.
And I see how this character could become the Galadriel that we see in Lord of the Rings. I see it.
Yeah.
I wish they were a little bit closer than they are now, but this Galadriel is just very, very angry, and I'm hoping that they resolve that in some way.
Yeah.
We'll see.
That is, I'm interested to see what she'll be like in season 2. If it's going to be the same notes sort of as season 1, or if she's going to, if there's going to be a little bit of a settling, I guess, to her characterization, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Just, I don't know.
I hope so. I hope so.
Yeah, I do too, because there are some moments where she will give a certain look, and I'm just like, yeah, I can see that this is Galadriel. Like, it's that, so particularly that, I don't know if we're going in order or anything like that, but
no.
Okay. That's that scene where she's talking to Elrond in the forest, and she's saying, "You have not seen what I have seen," like where she's
right.
He's mansplaining, especially essentially. Even though he was not alive when this was happening.
Here's what I'm saying. So I don't know if people realize how old Galadriel is. Galadriel is older than literally everybody else in this show.
Yes.
Actually, let me Google this.
Except for
Celebrimbor.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
Except for Celebrimbor. Gil-galad, like, I mean, she's still older than Gil-galad, but Gil-galad at least has the context to it. Like, he's
Yes,
he has the context that Elrond is lacking, let's say.
Celebrimbor, no exact age is given for him, but he is probably maybe a little bit older than Galadriel. But that's it. Everyone else is like young. Like, comparatively, everyone else is a baby.
And so it's interesting. Didn't we say that we were going to start positive first?
Oh, right. Well, we're starting with Galadriel, okay? Okay. We're starting with Galadriel, because I think that's maybe the natural.
Yes, I agree.
I had a hard time with people, like, Gil-galad is, like, at least 1,000 years younger than Galadriel. And Galadriel, I understand that Galadriel is very, like, cause specific. She's very Blue Aja in this point.
Yes.
And I get that she is not, unbiased because of her brother.
Yeah.
I love it. I love that part of her. I love that ferocity. But why aren't people listening to her?
Well, this is the thing. And like, it's the gamble that they're taking with this is insane to me. Because if she's wrong, then great. There's no danger. Everything is chill. If she's right, though, that's it. Like, they're in a super fucked up situation. And so why would you not err on the side of caution with this and say, like, you know what? You were there. You know what you're talking about. We're going to listen to you, maybe.
And when she was in Valinor, like, I think people are under the assumption, because of Rings of Power, that she was a child when the war started. That's not the case.
No.
She was a full-grown adult when the war started. Like, she knew it was happening.
Yes, yeah.
She is already regarded as super wise and pretty much like one of the greatest of the elves at the time that the war starts.
Yes.
And they're not treating her like that.
No.
So I have a hard time. I'm not saying this character is not a badass. And this is definitely a version of Galadriel. I'm just saying that she ain't being treated like that.
Yeah.
And she should be.
And I don't think it's an issue with her characterization. I think it's more of an issue of others' characterizations, honestly. And like, it seems like an odd choice. It seems like an odd choice to have people like, and I understand like for a dramatic effect, they have to have, there needs to be some kind of tension there. Otherwise it's not as interesting. I get that.
Right.
But I feel like there were other ways to make that happen that didn't have to be everyone sort of discrediting her wisdom and her experience. It's just it's an odd choice. Yeah.
It was interesting.
Yeah.
Can I go to the Doom of Mandos?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Please talk about the Doom of Mandos, because this is, and again, there are, we should maybe say there are things that they are allowed to reference in the show and things that they are not, because the history of who has the rights to what in the Tolkien verse is long and never ending and all over the place. It's a mess.
Complicated as fuck.
It's very complicated.
And I understand. However, this would be like adapting the Wheel of Time without being able to reference any of the prophecies. And that's not to say you couldn't do it.
Yeah.
That is to say that you couldn't do it well.
This is the thing. Because there's so much crucial information that the show is lacking, I think, which has forced them to make certain, and I get that. I appreciate that is the situation that they're in, that they are having to make different choices because there are things they can't talk about. I get it. It's just the choices that are
the choices that they are forced to make me wonder if this was worth making at all.
Well, yeah.
Because, so here's the thing. Imagine if, assuming you are listening to this because, you know, you like the Wheel of Time and that's how you know about the podcast. Assume if Rand had been born to literally Tam and Kari. There was no Aiel in there. Like, there is no, like, that part of the prophecy is just ignored. Would it still be the Wheel of Time? Sure. It would just be a little bit different. And this is the part that I have a problem with myself here, because I'm like, am I being a book cloak? But
no.
Part of Galadriel's character is that she didn't leave Valinor because she wanted to fight evil. I mean, she did. But she left Valinor because she wanted to rule a kingdom of her own.
Yes.
And when she left with all of the other elves, one of the gods came and said, anybody who leaves cannot come back. And she literally can't go back.
Yeah.
She literally can't.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Like, it's not like a please don't sneak in.
Yeah.
It's you cannot come back. And that's why her scene in the Fellowship of the Ring is so crucial.
I was gonna say.
And when she says, I passed the test, I can now return into the West and remain Galadriel.
Yes.
She's literally saying, I can go back now because she's resisted the evil.
Yeah. And I mean, also, it's also what makes her smile at the end of Return of the King when she's getting on, like, literally getting onto the ship. Like, it's so full of joy because she's going home. She can now go home. Like, this is what she wants. And it's it's lacking that. like it's just I don't. Yeah.
It's making light of the fact that is like her big thing. That's like, I'm trying to think of a good wheel. What if Moraine was Green Aja?
Yeah.
What if
what's another thing?
I know. I'm like, what if
I can't even, like, now I'm trying to think of something and I can't even think of it now.
I'm trying to think of Wheel of Time parallels to like how lore breaking this is.
How big it would be.
What if the White Cloaks bonded Aes Sedai?
What, I mean, like, just if we're talking just like character specific, what if
Moghedien was straight?
In no universe is Moghedien straight. There is no reality where that is a thing.
Not even in an offshoot world where they don't have the rights to full Lord of the Rings, so they have to go
No, they still find a way. She's still very much not straight.
Sorry, what were you gonna say? What if Moghedien was straight? Would it still be the Wheel of Time?
There we go.
No,
it wouldn't. It absolutely wouldn't. So what I was going to say is, what if Nynaeve didn't end up staying at the tower, but went off and joined the kin instead?
What if Nynaeve was straight?
What if
No, I'm sorry. Nynaeve is the most heterosexual person in the Wheel of Time.
Listen, I wish. You have no idea. How much I wish that she had fruity vibes to her, but she does not. She is so straight. And I still love her. I love her in spite of it. It's fine.
There's always an exception to the rule.
There's always an exception.
It's just like, and I understand that for the story that they're telling in Rings of Power, it's fine.
Yeah.
But let me tell you, when she got on that boat, I said, "Where do you think you're going, girl?"
You're going where? Pardon?
I'm like,
I thought, to the point where, like, I was like, am I remembering things wrong here? I thought, because I was like, she can't. How?
she can't.
She can't.
She can. This isn't.
It is a whole thing.
All right.
Anyway.
I that was my big thing.
Yeah.
Also, I'm really curious as to like the lore of these, or how the, not the lore, the what's the word?
The
mechanics of how these ships work.
Yeah.
Do the servants go?
I mean, I assume, because they just, like, everyone was gone. So I assume the servants are in that deal, which, like, good for them, I guess.
What if they weren't human servants.
No, they weren't.
That would have been fucky.
Can you imagine?
The humans go to Valinor, and then the gods, like, the Valar are just like, pew, 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 go here.
They do some target practice.
Let's go to something positive.
Okay.
Because I feel like we need that.
Mm-hmm.
So the Harfoots.
Let's talk about the Harfoots. Yeah.
Okay.
Because I feel like that they were a part that both of us agreed, like, loved. I was genuinely delighted by them.
They're amazing. I loved seeing those weird fucks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, they're weird and bizarre, and Sadik is an entire fucking vibe.
Oh my god, I love Sadik and his book of astrology, his astrology book, his little book of shadows. I love it. It's so good.
He's a little witch.
It's so
He's a
good.
little witch.
He's a little witch.
Oh, he dies.
Does he? James?
He dies at the end of the season.
James, I have blocked out. It's what? Really?
Yeah, he died.
Oh my god, that's so...
He died.
Oh my god.
I forgot Sadik died until just now.
Motherfucker. Well. So Sadik is great.
We love Sadik.
We love Sadik.
No, it was just because I was about to say, I'm like, Sadik is an entire vibe. I want to see. No, wait.
I don't remember that at all.
The cultists kill him.
Oh, that's right.
When he's saving Gandalf. And we are not going to talk about the Gandalf at all.
James, we can't. I was going to say, we cannot talk about Gandalf. We can't. Okay, let's focus on the Harfoots.
The Harfoots are great. Nori, Poppy.
I love them. Like that whole sequence of them, like after the hunters sort of pass and them setting up everything in the camp again.
Mm-hmm.
Delightful. That felt like Tolkien to me. Like that felt like Lord of the Rings to me.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was amazing to me. It felt very Merry Pippin vibes. And I love that.
Yeah.
I love seeing, also, this is a great time to mention the diversity of the cast because I love it.
Yeah.
That is one thing they did perfectly was they have an incredibly diverse cast. Do you know how easy it would have been for them to just go, everyone's white?
Yeah. Yeah, it would have been nothing. They could have easily done that.
No one would have said anything.
Nope, no one would have batted an eye.
No one expected more from them.
Yep.
And they did it.
Exactly.
And good for them.
I appreciate that so much. And they went in on it. They didn't just do like, okay, here, you have your token,
Here's your one black elf, your one black hobbit.
And that's it.
Your one black human. You get one of each.
You get one of each, and that's it. Don't complain. Don't say we never gave you nothing. But even in the background of scene, Like
Mm-hmm.
there's diversity in it, and
Yeah.
I very very much appreciate it because it's one of the few I guess complaints that I would have about the movies, that there's
Oh yeah.
there's
Everyone's white and everyone's a boy.
everyone is white and everyone's a boy except for the two girls. And that's kind of it.
I'm sorry, there's three. Yeah, you have Eowyn, Arwen, and Galadriel.
I apologize. There are 3 of them.
All of whom are main characters, as evidenced by the fact that yeah, I in this episode, the best part was the Harfoots for me.
Yeah.
I love Nori and Poppy. Their relationship is so pure and so beautiful, and it makes me really, really, really happy.
Yeah. It's very like seeing how protective they are over like the little kids, and just like, they're just so watching that scene where they're picking berries, I had kind of flashbacks to like my childhood when I would go out picking strawberries and blueberries, and just like, that feeling of just like, okay, you put a couple in the basket and then you eat like 5.
Right.
And by the end of it, your hands are stained, your mouth is stained, and you are very, very happy. And it was just joyful.
Right.
Yeah.
And you see like Nori taking care of the kids, like with the wolf and everything. Like, and Poppy is like, I don't know, Poppy is very much comic relief, but done in a very authentic way, I think.
She still comes off as like genuine. Like she's not a caricature, I don't think. Like she's
not a Pippin.
Yes, exactly.
Pippin bless.
Listen, I love Pippin.
I love Pippin too. I love Pippin for what he is.
I love him. He is
a fool of a took.
He is a fool of a took.
No, I wish we got more of the Harfoots, but I know we get more later, and I know the best song comes from Poppy, so
yes, it does.
That I'm excited about. How about the what is his name? I want to say it's Andruil, but that's not it.
Arendir?
Arandir, yes.
Yes.
Andruil is a sword.
I was going to say, are you talking about Strider's sword?
Yes, I'm talking about the sword.
Aragorn's sword?
Yes.
The Flame of the West? Okay.
The Flame of the West, yes.
Yeah, Arandir. So we kind of had said the same thing about Arandir and, what's her name?
Bronwyn.
We said kind of the same thing about them, in that like it's the relationship I'm not completely buying. It didn't seem necessary. I think they could have accomplished what they wanted to and what they ended up accomplishing without that. But I get it. Whatever.
You know what would have been more fun? If they had hated each other.
That would have been good. If there was like animosity. Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be a like enemies to lovers trope. It could just be enemies.
Just enemies. Sometimes enemies are just enemies, and that's okay.
Yeah, you don't need to be my best friend. You don't need to end up dicking me down.
No.
I can just hate you.
We can just hate each other, and that's fine. Yeah.
I feel like...
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Well, I'm stealing your thought from earlier. Like we walked into the middle.
Yeah.
I wish... Because it clearly feels like they've been giving these glances for like a decade.
This has been going on for a while, it seems like.
It just doesn't feel like it. And I get that it's like, shh, we aren't allowed to actually touch each other because then they're going to know that you like this pointy dick.
You like that pointy dick.
Which, I mean, there's a lot of racism going on in this show.
Listen, it's, whoa, boy. I forgot how much racism happened on this show.
For such diverse a cast. And this is literally racism because they're different races.
They're different races. Yes, it's literal racism. Like a lot of racism, a lot of prejudice. Like it's just, I mean, we'll talk about it a little bit later, but just like the way that the elves treat the people in the Southlands, I'm like, I feel like you're having the opposite effect that you're intending to have.
Right.
Like,
we need to keep these people in their place. We are. Let's talk about it now. Like, we aren't talking. We aren't keeping them for what they did, or we aren't keeping watch on them because what they did. We're keeping watch on them because of who they are. And I'm like,
who they are. I was like, what the fuck is wrong with you guys?
I'm like, what kind of like colonial
bullshit
is this?
So that I actually, because so this was something I actually did appreciate, because I feel like in Lord of the Rings you get a very different viewpoint of elves. You get like the elves at the time of Lord of the Rings, they are dwindling. They have chilled out. They have had their conflicts. They have chilled out. They're just waiting to go home.
They're peacing out. They're getting ready to go.
They're getting ready to go.
Also, I will say, it's kind of what we see of the elves in Lord of the Rings. Like, this is kind of post-apocalyptic for them.
Yes, exactly.
People, like, see, like, the greatness of the elves and how they're all, like, mysterious and stuff. I'm like, this is literally 5% of what they once were. Like, Lothlorien, as beautiful as it is.
It's nothing. It's nothing compared to what they had.
Yeah, compared to Linden, like, nothing. It is a fraction of a fraction.
Yeah. Yeah, and like it's so I did, I mean it's shitty of them to treat them that way, but it did feel on brand in the sense that like elves are super petty. Like they're super petty, and they genuinely do think that they're better than a lot of other people. Like this is
because here's the thing, if you're immortal, what else are you going to spend your time on other than thinking about that time that Martha gave you the side eye? Remember that time 4,000 years ago, Martha? You were a bitch.
You've had centuries to nurse that. Oh my God. It's the worst form of Capricorns. Oof, boy. It's the worst form of Capricorns.
I loved the intro. I thought the elf kids were weird, but I think it did a decent job of explaining stuff. And I think it was very, very beautiful. And it felt very much like Middle-earth.
Yes.
The maps were so beautiful.
Beautiful. And the transitions from map to like real world.
Yeah.
Breathtaking. I feel like it's such a clever piece of storytelling, I think. Because in a world like Middle-earth is expansive. It's huge. And they
did so well at showing the scale of it.
Yeah.
I feel like Wheel of Time, like Randland is just like, this little provincial town that Belle lives in. Compared to Middle-earth.
Yeah. It's just because, it's so big. And I mean, in this episode anyway, they're going between sort of two, I don't know what you want to call them, continents to like. Yeah, continents. I think that's the easiest way to describe them. And so you really do get the scale of it. And I appreciate that. I think a couple of times they labeled, like when they went to Lindor, like they said like, this is where we are. But
I'm sorry, when they went to Linden?
Did I say Lindor?
Lindor is the truffle.
Oh my God. God. James.
When they went to go get their Lindor truffles.
When they went to go get their Lindor truffles. Can we make that into an episode title somehow? I don't know.
Maybe.
When they went to Linden.
It had the little thing on the map.
It had the little thing, the little title card. But I feel like to do that every single time they switch locations, it's too much. And so I appreciate that they kind of alternated between the map and showing physically where they're going and like showing the precise location that they're in. Yeah.
And they do it, I think, for the show, they just do it like the first time they go somewhere.
I think so.
I don't know. It was really well done. It's nice to just give like a little bit of, this is a very basic word that I'm looking for, but I don't know what it is. Like description? No. Dear readers, listeners, tell me what word. Context.
Context. Okay.
Context.
Okay.
It was some good context.
Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I like where, what's his name again?
Who? Elrond? Who are you talking? Arendor?
Arendor. I was gonna say Andruil again, and I'm like, nope, that's the sword.
Nope.
No, wait, what is it again? I already forgot.
Oh my God, Arendor.
Arendor?
Arendor.
I need to.
Arendir.
Arendir.
It's probably pronounced Arendir. I'm pronouncing it weird.
Arendir, yes.
Arendir. Arondir.
Arandir.
Oh, it's an A.
Arondir.
Okay.
Arondir. Oh, he slays a Balrog.
Oh, good for him. That's good for him. In the show?
No, not in the show. We don't see a fucking Balrog in the show.
Listen, I didn't even know that. I don't know. For all we know, that the Balrog showed up at the end of the season. I don't know.
Yeah, well, we don't know Sadak died.
That's what I'm saying. I didn't know that Sadak died, so there we have it.
Yeah, he,
Okay.
I think maybe this isn't real.
Are we sure that that's him? Because I thought this was a character they made up.
Is Arondir a real character? Oh, no, he's not real.
He's not real.
Oh, no, you're right. So there is an Arondir, Arandir, that is real. Arondir is not real.
Oh my
That's
god.
so stupid. Oh, and I think this is like a fandom. I don't know.
Okay. It's a fan wiki?
Yeah, I don't know. Okay, Arondir.
Yes.
Fine as hell.
Yeah. He has really nice eyes. It's like, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, yes, I like him a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I think him and Bronwyn for me have my favorite arc of the season.
I agree with that too. Yeah. It's that's the thing. Like I like them both separately as characters. I just don't think the romance was necessary. I think we could have done.
Yeah.
They could have accomplished the same thing without the romance. I understand why it's there because people like to see it, but it's honestly, out of all the things that I could be annoyed of, it's so low on my list of things to be annoyed about. Oh no, what's wrong?
No, it's just now I'm thinking about Celeborn.
Oh.
And how they did Celeborn dirty.
James, we can't talk about this right now.
Okay.
We're gonna talk about it, but
not in this episode.
Similar to Gandalf, we can't get into Celeborn.
We don't talk about Gandalf or Celeborn or Sauron.
Yes.
The fight was super cool in the fortress.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it's called.
Snow Troll, I think.
No. What the land was called, like the wastelands of the north.
Oh, yeah, I don't remember the name that they said it was.
The northern waste. The Forod Waste.
Ah, yes. Okay, yeah.
Because when I remember seeing the promos for it and thinking, oh, it's the Helcaraxi. That's cool. Mm-hmm. The Helcaraxi is how they actually got to...
Yes.
Well, how Galadriel got to Middle Earth.
How she got to Middle Earth, yes.
Yes, because someone else stole and killed her mother's boats. Her mother's people's boats. They didn't kill the boats. They killed the elves and then...
They killed the boats.
And then took the boats.
Yeah.
And then Galadriel had to walk. But the fight was very cool. I enjoyed the fight. It shows that Galadriel is a badass bitch because she is.
She is, absolutely.
And even in the books, even in the Silmarillion, it's like she was known for her strength.
Yeah.
Like she's not just like some pretty bitch.
No, she's not. She's not like some like, she doesn't just sit back and like just sort of like is wise and that's it. Like there are more, there's more to her.
You know why she's that way in The Lord of the Rings? Because she's tired.
She's tired. She's already done the shit. She's done all of it and she's done with it.
She's thousands of years of it. She's like, look, I'm just going to sit back.
I know.
If I need to step in, I'll step in.
I'll step in if I have to.
But I'm tired.
Listen, I cannot.
This is a rest century for me.
Yeah. Yeah. This is a rest century. Exactly.
Yes, the last century was also a rest century. I'm tired.
I'm tired is what I'm saying.
But yes.
What else?
Do we want to talk about the patriarchy?
Okay.
And by the patriarchy, I mean Elrond and Gil-galad.
It just doesn't make sense. So first of all, okay, I was really excited that we were getting Gil-galad in Rings of Power. I was excited to see him because he is an iconic Silmarillion character. And even just in like, I mean, they mention him in Lord of the Rings, but even like the way that they mention him in Lord of the Rings, he is like important. Like there's an importance to him. And I feel like we got none of that. Like he just felt, I don't know if it was like the writing choices or if it was the acting choices. He just felt flat.
A little bit of the acting.
Yeah, unfortunately, it just didn't hit for me, and it's it was I was genuinely disappointed because I was really looking forward to Gilgalad, and it just didn't he didn't seem kingly.
And here's the thing. He's been the king for
Mhm.
like 3,000 years.
Yes.
This is not someone that's like just stepped into the king and he's like, oh, I don't know how to do this. No,
Mhm.
he's been the ruler for 3,000 years. Like,
Yeah. It's so I'm thinking like and I have my issues with the Hobbit movies. However, Thranduil in the Hobbit movies, the gravitas that character like he feels like it's I got it.
he feels appropriate.
He feels appropriate. There's that like sort of like just sort of charisma that he had to him, and it didn't feel two-dimensional. Like he felt like a fully realized character, and Gilgalad does not. Like it's yeah, which is unfortunate because like he's kind of important.
He's super important. Like, he
Yeah.
is literally the second most powerful elf
Yes.
currently in existence next to Galadriel.
Mhm.
Like, Galadriel is his grandmother's or his grandfather's sister. Like, let's put that into context. Like, Gilgalad,
Yeah, that's right.
it's
Mm-hmm. 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 And so it's just it didn't I don't I don't understand him and Elrond plotting to send Galadriel away.
I'm sorry, who?
I know. I know.
This pretentious little bitch that names himself Elrond?
I know. The pretender.
This usurper? The supplanter?
The
To the
supplanter.
name of Elrond? No, this was not Elrond to me.
No.
So, here's the thing. My Lord of the Rings knowledge
Mm-hmm.
is pretty great up until the Second Age.
Mm-hmm.
And then once you get to the Second Age, I'm like, meh.
Yeah.
And Elrond is mostly Second Age. Like, that's when his...
He's yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know that much about Elrond,
Mhm.
and maybe this is in character for him, but this, like, that's your future mother-in-law.
Yeah.
Sorry, spoilers. Well, maybe not in Rings of Power, it's not.
Who knows? Who knows what they're going to do with this? Who knows? Because, like, I hate to bring him up again, but once again, Celeborn. Like,
Yeah, is Celebrian running around somewhere?
sorry. Yeah, no clue.
No, I mean, so so the Celeborn and Galadriel have a daughter named Celebrian,
Yes,
and Celebrian marries Elrond
yes. And has,
and has kids, and
yes.
I'm like, has that happened?
Yeah. I don't think it has.
It can't have.
It can't have because I feel like their dynamic would be different if it had.
Like, how can you talk? Like, this is as wise. I'm not going to deny that Elrond is wise.
Mhm.
But Elrond is wise in the way that someone in college is wise compared to a professor.
Sure. Yeah.
And that's not to say that it can't happen, that
No.
the student is like, but not when the professor is Galadriel.
Exactly.
That's like asking Galadriel, hey, have you thought about? Yes.
Mhm.
Yes, I've thought about that.
Yes, I have. It's just I mean, and like going back to that whole conversation that they had in the fort, like just after she was basically told you don't have to, like, you don't got to go home, but you got to get the hell out of here.
Right?
Well, no, actually, you do got to go home, actually, is the thing. You got to go home and you have to get out of here.
Mm-hmm.
The way, like, Elrond is explaining things to her, and I'm like, but you weren't.
And they just had a conversation where Elrond was like, I hear that it
Mhm.
sounds really beautiful.
Mhm.
And Galadriel was like, yeah, I was there.
Yeah, I was there. I know that it was. It's just, it feels weird that they've injected this like patriarchal weird like oddness to the show, in how the male characters interact with Galadriel, where like there wasn't even a hint of that in Lord of the Rings. Like there was no
Yeah, like Galadriel is. It's not like she's Nynaeve.
no.
Like Nynaeve is sometimes a pain in the ass. I love her.
Absolutely, she is. Yes.
Galadriel is not ever a pain in the ass.
No, and that's the thing. Like they're, it's just so. I don't. And again, I'm assuming that the reason that it's there is for tension, so that there's tension so that there's drama for it. But like also, I feel like there could have been other ways to accomplish that tension that didn't involve this. Like it just. I don't know.
Turn Gil-galad into an asshole. That's fine.
Yeah.
But Elrond? We like Elrond.
Elrond is one of my favorite characters. I love Elrond.
We have context for Elrond.
Mm-hmm.
And we like Elrond in future episodes. I love his relationship with
what's his face? Oh no.
Durin?
No. Durin. Oh my god, I forgot his name.
It's literally Durin, the most common elf name.
I know. His relationship with Durin.
Look, as a big Lord of the Rings nerds as we are,
listen,
we watched this, and you know how after Game of Thrones, the finale aired, and then like everything Game of Thrones was taken off the shelves, and everybody collectively forgot about it. That was me and Kat after watching Rings of Power.
This is precisely, yes. It just, the information was in my brain, and my brain was just like, okay, we don't need it anymore. It's gone. Goodbye.
This serves no purpose.
It serves no purpose anymore. Yes, once he starts interacting with Durin and the dwarves, his characterization improves, significantly improves. It's not great here, I don't think. It's just not.
And I think the purpose was to show how different Galadriel's cause was to all of the other elves, and how the other elves just want to move on. And that's fine.
Sure.
But she's right.
That's the thing. It's like, once again, I have to go back to like the gamble that they're taking with this. And it's not just a situation where like they are absolutely convinced that she is wrong. They suspect that she may be right. But they still don't want to deal with it. They don't want to address it.
And they are convincing themselves that they are correct. And even if they're not correct, Gil-galad basically says, well, it's better that we try and move on.
Yeah, which is bananas.
Like, what if Galadriel... And they foresaw something like, if Galadriel sticks around, then Sauron's going to come back. And I'm like, he's going to come back regardless. Like, why do you think that... He
gonna do it anyway.
Why do you think that Galadriel being there matters?
Yeah,
like,
I know.
Even Galadriel isn't that powerful.
No.
And don't get me wrong, Galadriel's powerful, but...
Absolutely. She can't manifest Sauron, though. Like, what?
That's not how it works.
Yeah, and so it's just... I get what they're trying to accomplish with it. It just felt weird. It was just weird. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it's because if it were any other and I understand it needed to be characters of importance that were providing this tension to Galadriel. Otherwise, we wouldn't care. I get that. It's just that it's specifically, like, I'm not even talking about so much about Gil-galad. It's the fact that it's Elrond that is
right
in this. It just... it's just so contrary to the Elrond that we know, like that he will eventually be. It just seems so contrary to that. And like, and you know what? Maybe this is what, like, maybe the choices here is what drives him to become who he later becomes. Maybe that's the case.
Right.
Maybe that's the case.
Again, my second age, garbage.
Yeah.
I know Elrond was born in the first age.
Yes.
But my second age knowledge and third age, like, I know third age because of Lord of the Rings, but
yeah,
that's all I know. Once the elves stop being cool, I'm done. Except for Galadriel. I know Galadriel's timeline specifically from birth to end. I can tell you where she was, when she was, how she is the only person in the world that knows how to make that bread. She bakes every loaf.
Oh, yes, she does.
Every loaf handcrafted by Galadriel
By
herself.
Galadriel.
Fun fact, she learned that from one of the Maiar, Melian.
There we go. See, I didn't even know that. I didn't remember that at all. It's been years since I've read the Silmarillion. Like,
It's been a while for me. I just know that because Galadriel.
because Galadriel. That makes sense.
But yeah, I mean, overall, it was a good episode for like setting up
It was.
the world that they're in.
Mhm.
It is very much a setup episode, and it ends on
Yeah.
that stranger cliffhanger, which we're gonna get to.
Yeah. It's so, and I don't want to compare the two too much, but I feel like the first episode of Wheel of Time and the first episode of Rings of Power kind of did the opposite things. Where like with Wheel of Time, they were very much more like character and plot focused.
Yes.
And I feel like honestly in the long run that ended up benefiting them.
Because they can expand outward.
Exactly.
It's easier to zoom out than it is to zoom in when you're trying to get people hooked.
Exactly.
Maybe they're betting on the fact that people know these characters and that they have a decent familiarity with the world already. Yeah. But I don't know. It did feel like a choice.
Yeah. It felt too, like, it's on one hand, it's weird because on one hand, and I know we just talked about like how much we appreciate the scale of everything. And I do genuinely appreciate it. I appreciate how big the world felt because it's felt very Tolkien. But at the same time, it felt hard to get into the story of things. I don't know.
I think that is it. I think this looks and feels like the world itself feels like Tolkien.
Yeah.
It's the characters, for the most part, do not.
Don't. Exactly.
That might be it.
Yeah, the characters don't. And this might be something that they're able, like, they should, I feel like they can't, this is not an unfixable problem.
Yeah.
I don't think it's unfixable.
No.
I feel like they need to kind of maybe go back to the drawing board with some characters. Yeah, we'll see what happens in season 2. I don't know. It's season 1 didn't give me a whole lot of hope, unfortunately. But yeah, I think you're right. I think that's what it is. It felt the world looks and feels like Tolkien. The characters do not.
I think the characters individually fit in a little bit, but I don't know.
Yeah. And the thing too, like I think they were banking, like they are banking on the fact that like, okay, this is something like people know Lord of the Rings, people love Lord of the Rings. They're going to recognize the names of Galadriel and Elrond and all of that. But aside from, I mean, if we think about it, aside from Galadriel and Elrond, the average everyday Lord of the Rings movie fan is not going to have a whole lot of knowledge about like,
right,
Gil-galad. They're not going to have, they might recognize the name, but they're not going to have the context to who that character is. And so even though these are not new characters, they're characters that exist, they're going to be new to, I feel like, a majority of the audience. The general audience, anyway.
I think this is an amazing show for people that casually like Lord of the Rings.
I think so too.
And it's not a bad show.
No, not at all. Like it's not. It's like, to be clear, this is not a bad show. We have seen bad shows. This is not even remotely a bad show.
Yeah.
It's just, again, I think because we are like super Lord of the Rings fans, I think we're just like, I'm struggling a little bit with it, is what it is.
Yeah, I am too.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Well,
do we have anything else?
I don't think so. I mean, yeah, well, we said we're not going to talk about him.
Which one?
The Stranger.
The Stranger?
We're not going to talk about the Stranger. We're going to talk about him. We'll have to talk about him next episode. But
episode 8, we'll talk about him.
So wait, we're just going to go through.
No. Our gripes are going to happen in episode 8.
Okay.
Because that's when we find out who he is.
Okay.
And I don't have a problem with him until I know who he is.
I know. This is the thing. Until we keep saying that we're not going to talk about it, and then we keep getting into the trap of talking about it.
He's fine. He's a great character until I know who he is.
I know.
Because that's not how that happened.
And there's part of me that's still hoping that we're being bamboozled, but I don't think we are, because they wouldn't have gone through all of this to just to say like, okay, this is him, LOL JK, it's not him.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's him, which is annoying. Let's say.
It's like...
We're getting so far ahead of ourselves.
It's like, what is it like in Wheel of Time? It would be like if the Sean Chan, maybe just one Sean Chan, a very important Sean, maybe if High Lady Suroth yeeted herself in a rocket 500 years prior to Rand being born.
Yes.
That is what it's like for me. And that's why I have a problem with it.
It's, and again, I suspect that this is another issue that they're running into with rights and what they can talk about and what they cannot talk about. But like, this didn't have to be a thing at all, though. Right?
I don't have words. I will say they set everything up for the kid to be Sauron and then wasted it.
I know.
The kid should have been Sauron.
I know. Oh my God.
All right. Thank you for listening to this episode of Queers of Time. We hope you've enjoyed it. If you didn't, we're going to keep doing it. Maybe we just release these on Patreon if you guys hate it, but we'll find out. We really do not hate the show. We just have opinions and we're gay.
Yeah.
And we have a platform. So now you have to listen to them.
So you have to listen to them. I'm sorry about it, but also, well.
Yeah, we're doing what white men have done for centuries.
Exactly. We are reclaiming right now.
Yeah. You can find us on Discord. Our Discord is great. We're reorganizing it a little bit, so it'll be more spoiler friendly for Wheel of Time stuff. This gonna be hot trash for the Lord of the Rings stuff, but we're gonna try. And then
we'll do our best.
Yeah, it's gonna be good. Twitter, Zitter.
Sitter.
Before we have to Zitter.
Oh, yes, Zitter.
Before we have to start paying $1 a year for it.
Jesus Christ. Can you imagine?
And he just wants our credit card numbers. I will get
100%.
If I would ever give him my money, I would get like a prepaid card and be like, I want to load $1.
$1, please.
There'll be a $3.95 fee for it. That's fine.
That's fine. Just $1. That's it.
Plus tax. Yeah. $2. Yeah, no, that was our show. I hope you liked it. Hopefully it's good. Camille, hopefully you're liking. Hopefully it's not too negative. Maybe these are Patreon only things. I don't know.
I don't know. We'll see. I feel like we weren't that negative. I don't think we were that negative.
It's not like we're being book cloaks. We genuinely love we like the show.
There you go. That's good.
We like the show a lot.
It's just that there are parts of it that we're trying to come to terms with it. And it's completely possible that we'll never come to terms with it.
And that's okay.
And I think that's okay. That's okay.
It's okay to be a hater sometimes.
Sometimes it's okay to be a hater.
Yeah, life's hard sometimes. Especially for Galadriel, when no one listens to you.
Oof, boy. Yeah.
All right. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you all for listening. This was Queers of Time, a Wheel of Time podcast. The music is Dance of the Witches by Julius H.